Hello everyone. I hope everyone is doing great. So if you want to know what is the interview process at OpenText, or if you want to know what kind of interview questions one can brush up before taking up an interview with OpenText, so and this video is for you. So in this video I'll be sharing you my interview experience that I have at OpenText, and at the same time I'll be sharing you the interview questions that I have encountered in the interview. So firstly I would like to start with the interview process. So coming to the interview process, there was one hacker rank test and there were two technical rounds. So before even taking up the hacker rank test itself, my technical rounds were scheduled. Both the technical rounds happened through Microsoft Teams. So this was about the interview process here, and coming to the how I got shortlisted. I got a call from one of the HR from the OpenText team. So she scheduled me upon discussing about the technical stack that they were looking up, and she scheduled an interview for me. So before getting into the interview questions that I have encountered, I would like to give a quick introduction of ourselves, like who are we and what we do. So basically we are a bunch of software engineers who attend interviews and share our real-time interview experiences through these videos. If you like the videos, you can subscribe our channel to catch all the updates, as there are many interviews which are there in the queue. As we are not getting enough time to make a video, we are not posting the videos that frequently these days. Believe me, there are many other videos as well in the bucket. So if you want to contribute, you can feel free to reach us at the given email ID in the description, so that it might help someone. So this was about ourselves. So coming to the firstly I would like to talk about the hacker ranker test. There were two questions in that, so both were very I would say below average questions. Those were so I don't remember the exact question there, but this was the overall input and output that was expected in here. If you see here in the input, so the word T is there, right? THAG 14. So the output should be THAG 14 in the braces, the sum of the numbers inside that string. So as this word, so basically if the given input has the character T and it contains the number, so we should display the output as the same string in the braces, the sum of the numbers inside that. So coming to the next example, if you see RAG13, as that string doesn't contain T, so the output should be none. In the similar way, coming to the third input, like 4 BAT 32 ARE RAT 45, so this was a complete string given, and the output that was asked to display was like BAT, like 4 BAT 32 9, as 4 plus 3 plus 2 9. Then R, that doesn't contain any T word, T character, so none, and RAT 45, that is again 9. So this was the about the first question of hacker rank. And coming to the next question, this was a bit tricky, but not that I would say again not that tough, I would say. So the overall question I don't remember, but this was the expectation of the question. There was a array of numbers. So given the input is 1 2 3 4, then the output should be the lowest number should be added with the highest number, the second lowest number should be added with the second highest number, and so on, and the highest number should be subtracted, if at all the the highest number should be subtracted with the lowest number, and second highest should be subtracted with the second lowest number. So if you take here 1 2 3 4, 1 is the shortest number, lowest number, highest number is 4, so at the first position 5 will come. Similarly at the second position also 5 will come, because 2 will get added with 3. In the third position 1 will come, because 3 minus 2 is 1, and in the fourth position again 1 will come, 3 will come, 4 minus 1 is 3, so that should come here. So there is a typo error here. So this was about the second question. So upon clearing the question, there was a scheduled interview with Microsoft Teams. So there were two people in the rounds, both the rounds there were two people. So first question was this. Again there was a technical coding question. So the question was Aarti, Bandana and Clara often eat out each order either tea or coffee after dinner. The first rule is, if Aarti orders coffee, then Bandana orders the drink that Clara orders. If Bandana orders coffee, then Aarti orders the drink that Clara doesn't order. If Clara orders a tea, then Aarti orders the drink that Bandana orders. How do you know who always orders the same drink after the dinner, and what is the drink? So this was the first question. They just copy pasted this question from somewhere into the webex, the Microsoft Teams chat window. So to understand the question, to be honest, it took 5 minutes for me, but to be honest, I couldn't give a proper perfect solution for that, and because of which there was one lady in the interview who got irritated. She started cross questioning that without preparation, why you are attending interviews, and so on. Different things happen over this question. So after this question, so even I said the same thing, yes, because you are prepared for this question, you have the answer. If at all, if at all I post one question in the same chat window, even you would be unable to answer the question. I countered her in that way. So there was one more guy who came and sorted out this issue. Then there was one more question. So this was the question. So there is a very employee friendly company. In a company, standard work hours are 40. It always allows people to work part time if they want. Pay is calculated based on per hour billing rate. For overtime, 50% bonus is given on the per hour rate. So salary calculation formula also they only given, and the ask was what is the mistake in this solution, in the salary calculation part, what is the mistake? So I have identified within no time, and I have set the answer. So that was about the second question, I would say. And coming to the next question, design a DB with many to many relationship and one to one relationship using MyBatis. So as my current project was using MyBatis to connect to DB, so they have asked me the same question, based on the same thing. They have asked me this question, how do you configure using MyBatis, many to one many relationship and one to one relationship. So I was pretty much aware of the things, how to configure that thing, and I have explained them the same thing. So, and one more thing I forgot to ask is this overall interview was happening, I was sharing my screen and using notepad. I was explaining everything, writing the code and everything I was doing. Just for the info, I am saying this. Then the next question was how to perform aggregation in MongoDB using Java. So I have good hands-on experience on Mongo also. So I have explained them, not exact syntax. Practically I was writing correct, but I know how to perform, and I was able to give the solution to them. And the next question was, how do you make one service call from another service call? So this was a pretty much average question, I would say, because there are n number of scenarios where we have to communicate, where we need to establish a communication between two services. So I have explained how we are doing it through, how we can do it through using REST template, and even with the Apache Camel there are few components that are built-in components available. Using that components also we can communicate with different services. So I explained them the same thing. So coming to the next question, how do you log your messages when your services are deployed across different machines? So they actually gave me a real-time experience, one problem here. So there is one service which is deployed in different machines, and how do you know whenever a request is coming on which server, on which machine that request is getting filled? How do you track of it? So this is one of the challenging question in microservices, because there is no proper way to handle this, if you are not designed your microservices properly. So I have tried to give my best while explaining the question, how we are doing. We are basically we will write our logs to a different machine. So the same thing I have explained them here. You can find n number of answers on Google also regarding the same. So the next question here is, what is the best way to perform transaction management when multiple microservices are involved? So this is one of the challenge while we are using microservices. Transaction management is the biggest challenge that we face. So, and there is no perfect solution for this as well. You can try to minimize the impact, but there is no perfect solution. Like whenever there are multiple microservices are involved in a transaction management. And the next question is, what is API first approach? So to be honest, I was not aware of this question itself, and I was unable to answer, to be honest. Like later on I googled this question, like what is API first approach, then I came to know about it. It was very simple thing. So the next question is, how do you implement security in your application? So I have explained him like how we are achieving the security in our application, like how we are like what all things we are doing to authenticate or authorize a user before accessing our services. So coming to the next question, how an incoming JSON gets converted to class object in REST. Oh my god. So to be honest, at that moment the answer didn't strike me. So just if you are having one dependency, that will do automatically the entire thing, but I was unable to answer this as well. That like maybe at that moment that didn't strike my mind, like having Jackson dependency will solve this issue, but later on I got the answer. So these were some of the questions that I have faced, and apart from this there were questions or core Java concepts like oops, exception handling, collection, multi-threading, and Spring AOP, Spring Boot configuration, especially like profiles, how do we configure different profiles. And there was a big discussion on that, like how do you load different application.properties in different environments, which were pretty much the questions which we can find on the website, in on any website. So that's the reason I haven't shared those things. And there were questions on project architecture as well, like they have asked me to explain the entire project architecture end-to-end flow, and there were a number of cross questions while I was explaining the same. Then they asked me to design a REST service, like complete REST service, like right from the request to saving the object in the DB, and what kind of response I will be sending it to that. And they have asked me to write a JUnit for the same REST API. Then they have asked me like how end-to-end testing is done in our application. I have explained them in detail, like how we are doing the end-to-end testing and integration testing here. Then there was a question on how do you deploy code. Like to be honest, we have a DevOps team that takes care of these things, and I have explained the same thing. Then the next question was, what factor do you consider while reviewing the code? So I have explained all the factors, like like while I am doing a peer review, like what all things I check for, like I look for in the code. Then there were questions like what factors you consider while reviewing the code, what is sonar, like what is sonar was the question. Then what is Vera code, explain Maven lifecycle was the question. So these were pretty much common interview questions that you encounter in any interview. So that's the reason I haven't explained, but they have asked this all questions as well. So this was about the interview questions of OpenText. And coming to the feedback of the interview, I would say neutral, because even though like I have answered 80 to 90%, like 90 plus questions, like 90% plus answers I have given, but they haven't selected me, might be because of the solution that I was unable to give for that coffee machine solution. And salary range was given, like from the mail I am saying this, it was like 13 to 18 lakhs, like minimum was 13 and maximum was 18 lakhs per annum. And experience level of this interview is 5. So that is it from this video. So if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, share or like, or provide the feedback in the comment section.